Welcome back. So today we're going to take a look at the EZEAR X12, and I'm going to recap my thoughts on the Q70Y, which we talked about a while back. It's kind of an older model. Even there was a previous model from last year that I really enjoyed. This was the updated, more affordable model, and it actually came out with a brother one called the X12, this is sort of this Q-tip style, and this is a more traditional earbud TWS style. So these came from the Friendly Audio store on AliExpress. So thank you guys for sending these out to me. You can see on AliExpress today they're about $26.39 for the X12, and the more affordable Q70Y is $17.41 today. I'm not sure, those may be Black Friday sale prices, so I'm not sure these will be the same prices when you get around to checking them out on AliExpress. So my first thought, I very much like the Q70 and it's the previous model. This Q-tip style earbud, it's actually kind of nice. I don't actually wear too many of this style, but this is kind of one of the few that I actually kept around. And the case is also super small, which is really convenient, and USB-C, which is super nice for 2020, $17. And then a more expensive X12, nice case, but micro USB, because it has a big battery pack inside to charge your phone. And it's a 2000 milliamp battery, so don't expect it doesn't fully charge my phone, but you know, kind of right off the bat, I'm just not a fan of these big cases with a battery that's pretty much useless for my uses, but you know, it just weighs down your pocket or your backpack with a battery that you're never going to use. So it's kind of my first thought was I really wish this was the same price as that one or a more similar price, because you're essentially paying for this case, which is of no use to me and a lot of other people. But that being said, they're both quite nice sounding, and I wouldn't say that they sound similar. I probably wouldn't even use them for the same purposes. The Q70 is more of a musical, and I actually like it with bigger earbuds because it's got a really nice V shape, nice sub bass, nice mids. It's actually just more musical than it is as a traditional TWS. So while it'll serve its purposes as a TWS, and you can certainly game with it or watch movies with it, it definitely has a musical tuning, and it sort of lends itself more towards a V shape, which isn't exactly what I would use for movies and podcasts, because of where at the bottom of that V is sort of that midsection, potentially the vocals, and you don't necessarily want those recessed. You kind of want those to pop forward when you're listening to TV or movies or a podcast. So the X12 is much more of a sort of TWS tuning is what I would call it. More of a W or a U shape where you don't have that recessed mids. The mids are actually brought forward, and that's sort of why I call it a W. So there's a nice little bump on the mids. The vocals are forward. You never feel like it's hard to hear vocals in a podcast or on TV. And on music, the vocals are also far forward, so not 100% natural, but if the only thing that you really listen to in music are the vocals, because that's the main point, then it sounds perfectly fine. But it has the advantage of working with other media, which is why I like that tuning for TWS. If you're going to go on travel and if you only want to take one pair, you know, it's really nice to have something that works across all the different media, and that's why I sort of like these X12s, not necessarily as my music-only pair, but the pair that I would grab for taking a plane ride where I was going to watch a movie or watch TV or listen to a podcast, simply because of that midsection is brought forward and it's nice and clear. So this guy is kind of more V-shaped. This one is a more balanced, kind of a flat shape. So it's got plenty of bass, not so much sub bass. You have to change the tips. You just want a better seal, maybe some slightly bigger tips. This one happens to fit quite fantastic for me, and it's really hard to tell on video the size of this guy, but it's actually really quite small, and it fits flush in my ear, which is sort of the nice part of having a TWS is if you can get this to fit in your ear and then this part fits flush, you know, both of them are pretty much, you know, kind of similar size, except this one sticks out from your ear a little bit and this one will actually fit flush against my ear. And it's super comfortable. And even when I was doing yard work, it's compared to the SA08 or even my Z1, it's actually much more comfortable just because it's simply smaller and fits flush. So yeah, definitely bonus points on the X12 just for the fit. And these guys, they fit. I just leave them. I like to change the tips on those so they pop out a little bit. And you know, because it has the stick hanging down from your ear, it's popping out a little bit anyway. These guys, I was pretty much fine with these tips just because it let this fit really flush and hug my ear, and super comfortable. So sound wise, like I said, sub bass, not as much because of the tips. Push them in a little bit, you'll actually hear more of the sub bass. Put on a different tip, more sub bass. But out of the box with the stock tips, quite a nice mid bass, not too bumped at all. It's just there, kind of even with the vocals and the mids, which are kind of brought forward. So vocals always sound nice. TV voices sound great. But most of all, you can listen to them at a lower volume. You don't have to keep futzing with the volume to hear the vocals. Just nice and forward, very clear. And then the treble is sort of right along the same line. It's not rolled off early, which is what you get in a lot of more affordable TWSs. The level is fine. Like I said, it's pretty much in line with the mids as well. So it's kind of a nice balanced sound signature. It's if you're looking for something a little more fun, then I would probably take the Q70, but something more general purpose that works across everything else, I think the X12. And it's not like it's flat and boring. I was using it all weekend, and it's quite nice, but don't expect it to have a big V shape. So that's about it. That's a quick look at the EZEAR X12. This is the Q70Y. Like I said, these came from the Friendly Audio store on AliExpress, so do check them out during the Black Friday sale. And thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time.